evening, everybody, and welcome to the SimRacingHub F1 Championship. This is round 4, and leading the driver's standing going into this round is Josh Mills in the Red Bull racing team with 68 points, followed by his arch nemesis, Mr. Argenis Riera, with 64, and Janos Magasrevi with 37, following for the top 3. Wrapping up top 5 is Otto Acosta and Glenn Cooper. I'm your host, François Goulet, and I'm pleased to welcome you tonight in Barcelona, the Catalunya circuit, for this 4th round of the 2024 championship. For those who are familiar with the program, I always say that my co-host is supposed to be here anytime soon. He hasn't showed up, but I got a real surprise tonight because I got a new friend actually who's with me, who's here to describe the race. Ex SimRacingHub driver, a real race enthusiast, Mr. Matt Hartley is with me. Matt, what's up?
Hey, you said ex-driver. We can drive. We're ready to go right now.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
We didn't get divorced from the league. We just got separated with twins. But that's okay. Good to be back, everybody. Right. And, we've been following on, watching as we go. And I want to say, first off, you guys are doing a great job with the broadcast, and I'm happy to help any way that I can.
Yeah, well, I'm really glad to have you tagging along because people are familiar, as I said, with the show. They barely know about me. I'm a sim racer, but I haven't raced that game. And having you here will bring you an inside view about this game because you have been in this championship. I'm sure you will probably come back to this championship. You got a great experience of this game and also in racing in real life, like we spoke about. And we just met each other, so we'll have fun. You and I too. Yeah, exactly. So we'll try to discover each other during this program. So to wrap up the top 10 for the Drivers' Championship, we had Richard Walcott in 6th position, Bill Worrell in 7th, Elise Tate in 8th, Richard Haney in 9th, and Juan del Castillo top 10. For more information, always feel free to go on the SimRacingHub website. Everything is there, the rules and regulation, driver's standing, the times for the practice sessions. You got a lot of information. We came from a very interesting and entertaining round in Shanghai, where Argenis Riera won his first race, followed by
Did you just say Argenis Riera won his first race? I don't think I've ever heard those words before.
He's usually wins every race. Of the season, because Josh Mills won the first 2 races. Yeah, and the battle were quite feisty between these 2 guys. But Mills on the last race couldn't bring the race to Riera at the end. We saw Montero coming back with a charge at the end, providing us with great overtaking. So that was a really nice round. Today, Matt, we're going to Catalunya, Barcelona. You know that circuit, you like that circuit, so just give us your insight, your intake on this particular track.
Will do. So 4.6 kilometers and change, 2.9 miles for those that are in the Imperial system still and not in the metric system. Not sure why you haven't moved over yet, but that's okay. The capacity crowd of 141,000 will all be here tonight. You can see them in the stands. Find out your loved ones, send them some love. C1, C2, C3 tires. And tires are going to be a big factor today. As always in SimRacingHub, pit strategy, and it'll be very interesting to see quite a long pit lane. So it'll be quite interesting to see, what the different strategies are going to be here. 66 laps, 14 turns, and hopefully a great race on our hands, particularly, like you said, at the top between those 2, and don't count out Mr. Montero.
Yeah, Montero, Zeke, like you like to call him, so far has been the, let's say, the perfect ringer. Because if I remember correctly, he did every races in a different team. So I think he's ringing for Ferrari this week, if I'm not mistaken. And well, it's fun to see him in those different liveries. I don't know exactly what is the deal between him and the other drivers, or he's just like the perfect replacement, and every week he's being needed or asked for. But so far, he has provided us with great racing.
Nobody likes him. That's what it is, right? So one race contracts. He's too fast, so the teammates usually kick him out and send him to another team. But be very interesting. He's alongside Bill Worrell, I think, today in Ferrari. So we'll see whether Ferrari can get some points going on in the standings. And I know you're going to run through that very, very quickly. So we'll see whether Ferrari can get some more points today.
Yeah, exactly. Well, for the team standing so far, Red Bull Racing is leading with 4 points over McLaren F1 team. McLaren F1 team, we have seen it. They're not battling for the wins, but they're always there. They're always steady and strong, wrapping up top fives, every now and then. So they're in second position, and they can really do good and maybe grab that first spot today. Aston Martin, Aramco Racing, wraps up the top three, followed by Mercedes, AMG Petronas, Scuderia Ferrari in fifth. Let's hope that Zeke can bring a few points to pump them up in the championship, followed by Williams in sixth position, Haas F1 team in seventh, Alpine in eighth, AlphaTauri in ninth, and Alfa Romeo in 10th position. So we have a tight championship, at the top. There's only 8 points differentiating top, 1 to 3rd. So this is anybody's game so far, and we're really early in the season. So anything can happen. We saw it. We saw a few DNFs in every races. So we never know what can happen. And a guy like Mills and Riera, although they dominated the races, they can be taken out at turn one, and we might not even see them if something bad happens.
For sure. And I think we know that Mills and Riera are going to be at the top. The real question is their teammates, right? So Jean-Pierre Lancet, is it Lancet?
Yeah.
Okay, that one's on you. You can do that one. So Jean-Pierre, JP, I call him JP.
Yeah, let's call him JP.
JP is good. But very, very strong driver in himself. And I think the key thing is, how high up on the grid he can get. And at the same time, like you were saying, that Riera's teammate, which Ricardo Senior, we've been watching, me and you, the last kind of half hour here as we get, kind of intertwined with each other and get to know all of each other's secrets. I think it's only been me saying secrets so far, but that's okay. I'm the new guy. Senior has been struggling with the Aston Martin and has been fighting him. So it'll be very interesting to see. He's fast, but it'll be interesting to see, can he do 66 laps with that car?
Yeah, well, I've seen him spin on a few occasions, but he might be doing a Gilles Villeneuve, which is pushing the car to the limit in order to figure out where the limit is.
That would be something I've never been able to perfect myself. I usually try to find the limit a little bit further and usually end up in a very hard and still wall.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that was the drivers, Formula One drivers, or just racing drivers were able to do back in the day, because maybe the cars were less fast, so they had less speed to go in the wall. But that was a technique, and there was another driver who actually had less success than Gilles Villeneuve, who was Pastor Maldonado, and he said the exact same thing. He was always losing the car, but he was telling us spectators, that he was trying to find the limit of the car, but he was always finding the walls. So that's
Pastor Maldonado. It's a good time to explain that he was a winner of this circuit, wasn't he?
Yes, actually, that's the only
2012.
I think it's 12. Yeah, that's the last Williams victory, if I'm not mistaken. And yes, he won that race over Fernando Alonso, and he won that race fair and square. So nobody can steal that from him. But other than that, everybody remembers him for costing a lot of money to the team. So it is 21:13, Matt. 2 minutes before the quali. This track, tough. Well, I wouldn't say. Well, I can say tough track. This is a technical track, fast corners, slow corners. How do you think it's going to play out in the race? Because there's no law except the start finish straight. Where other than there can you overtake a car?
Well, I think the main thing is you have to get a good qualifying, so that's going to be very crucial that we follow who's going to manage to get on the front row, because it's not the most easy track to overtake, that's for sure. The straight is long enough, and with the last two corners been changed, I think that's been 2 years now. It does help a little bit get the slipstream, so you can pass down the start finish straight. Other than that, there are a few chances on the back straight. So you come out of, I believe it is Nissan corner, into turn 11. So please go ahead and say the name of the turn, because I know you're very good at this one.
Wait for me. La Caixa, turn number 10. Yeah.
La Caixa. Okay.
La Caixa.
Yeah, that's a big turn, big area that you can able to pass, but challenging though, because you have to be good on the brakes, and you have to follow through such a fast turn, the turn before it. So not the number one ideal spot. The best chance to overtake here is to start ahead.
Mm-hmm. And what about, I've always wondered, what about the dirty air with the Formula One cars? Because we saw in Suzuka sometimes at turn 1, people misjudging the brake marks, just misjudging the brake because they were in the dirty air. And that's where I really wanted to learn about how is the dirty air affecting the cars in SimRacingHub.
Well, on RFactor, RFactor, it varies, that's for sure. Just looking, by the way, right now of who's going to be first out of the pits. This is always my favorite game to play. It looks like it's Ferrari first out, and Riera's right behind in second. So Riera is keen, ready to go. While we wait for these guys for the green light, the dirty air definitely can affect it. Also, the simple art of distraction, and there is difference when you're sim racing versus racing obviously in real life. The real challenge is the visible depth. What is going on here, by the way? We've got Ferrari blocking Riera. Okay, I see how it is. Was that Zeke or was that Bill?
That's Bill Worrell, and that was blocking Riera. And the thing is, I got a question there. What would have happened if they touched and Riera would have had damage on his wing?
You have to go all the way back to the pits. So you cannot exit. You cannot escape. So you have to drive all the way back around slowly to the pit garage. Then you have to get into the pit lane before you escape in order to fix your car and re-go. If you do lose damage, I learnt this the hard way. If you damage the car to the point of no return, I believe I put it in the ocean in Monaco. So people said that may have been a little bit hard to get it out of, which, I'm not sure about it. But I put it into the harbor, and basically your qualifying is over. So if you lose a rear wing or a wheel, your qualifying is over, and that is a key mistake that has happened before. Now, on board with Argenis Riera, if we can go, this will be great. Down the back front straight, we're going to brake, looks like, wow, very late. Maybe 60 meters before the corner, flick it left and right, then a long right. This is a challenging one. It should be flat, easy flat for Riera. You can see how the front of the car is hooked up. Nice and wide line. You don't really need to struggle the apex on this turn. You can just let it ride nice around the outside. This is the turn everyone's been struggling with. Turn 5, I believe it is. Seat. Seat is going to get a lot of sponsorship from us today. A lot of guys struggling with that. No issues here. Again, we're not worrying any apexes. That was late. That would have cost him some time. But most of this track, you don't really have to get super tight to the apexes like you do in others. We're coming down this back straight then into La Caixa. They opened it up because I remember, I'm like, where is he going? But they've opened up the corner. It's a lot longer than it used to be. This is a nice flowing corner then into the second to last turn, which is going to be easy, flat. Going to keep 2 wheels on the track. Again, nowhere near the apex. And he's going to come across the line. The first guy to put up a time, and it's going to be a 10.7, which is a quick time. Again, didn't hit a single apex, really, generally speaking, but he just carries so much speed through the corners, and that car is just beautifully hooked up.
Well, I think that was a pretty steady lap from Riera because we haven't seen him struggle on the onboard that you described perfectly. Thanks for that, by the way. So he put up a 110.774.
There's a fire. Somebody is on fire.
Mills is not far apart, though.
Somebody is on fire. Who was on fire?
Oh, okay, really on fire. Okay, I thought you were actually saying like he's it's an Alpine, I think. Let me see.
It's Del Castillo.
Juan del Castillo, where are you, my friend? So he's back in the pits, but that is funny because when you said he's on fire, it's like, oh, he's going fast. Cool, yeah, super. But
nope.
Is that an Alpine? He's with Alpine, is he?
Yeah.
So we have one constant this season. The only cars that have, burned are Alpines. One in Suzuka and one here, but we haven't seen what happened with him, unfortunately.
Riera just went faster, 10.4. It's funny because you said it was a steady lap. It was still 0.4 faster than Josh Mills, who was his close competition. Mills is going to go into the pits right here, so he's going to go. So Riera did 2 fast time laps. Mills did not. Elise Tape is looking pretty strong right now in 3rd place. Montero down in 4th. Almost a full second away from Riera, which is still maybe trying to get used to the car this year. Hasn't maybe done too many laps. Usually you wouldn't see anywhere near a gap that size.
But not a big gap between 2nd and 4th. 3/10, between these 3 guys. And since Riera did a second lap, which was faster than the first one, you think his tires were, even more prepared for that second lap?
Yeah, I watched Mills on board. Mills are struggling. So maybe just a different way of heating them up. Perhaps, maybe Riera's car does like the second lap. Mills does not. Very, very close times. I just saw Glenn Cooper and McLaren popped up into 8th spot. Very close times. Look at the close times between 5th and between 7th, Ricardo Senior at a 12.5, and 10th, a 12.6, and a 12.6 is actually out right now in 11th place.
I got a question about the car on fire because you mentioned that if you get a DNF if your car is damaged beyond repairs, but in quali, if your car is damaged beyond repairs, you just end your quali and that's it. Okay.
Yes.
But
so
you do the race.
Yeah, so you still do the race. Yeah, we still, we managed to pull it out of the harbor in Monaco, in time to make the race. But you don't start the race in a good position, and like you said, the Alpine that it was. Now the only problem is, I believe, are they both still running? Oh no, I was on board with John Cook, the captain, John Cook, and Del Castillo is definitely down in 19th place, which is basically 198th place when you start in Spain.
Good one. Yeah, you said that you got a few nicknames for these guys that you know very well because you were in that championship. These guys are your friends. You cannot have a favorite because we're impartial. But you have those little nicknames that we're going to learn about as long as we go with the race and we talk about them drivers. So Del Castillo is going to start last, unfortunately, but he's going to be able to start. That's the fun part of it.
Oh yes, yeah. We always want people in the race. Okay. Mills on a fast lap right here.
Yeah.
He looks like he's definitely pushing. So we will see. Obviously, we're going to keep an eye on these two. The gap has been quite large between the two of them, so Mills is going to have to improve, and only to a 10.9.
Yeah.
So Riera, I'm not saying he has this race in the bag, but people are starting to get the bags ready.
Yeah, but you mentioned that Riera is not a driver who makes a lot of mistakes. Not that we haven't seen any mistakes from him. We have seen just a few, not big ones, but I've seen him do like really, really steady laps to come back from like a 5-second gap, for instance, like in Melbourne or anything. So you think that if Riera keeps it on pole, let's say that if he keeps it on pole, you think he's gonna run out with the lead and the victory, and do you think, or maybe Mills will be able to step his game up and bring the Red Bull in his
I think Riera is a very, very smart driver. We all know this. And if you are half a second faster than the guy behind, which we don't think in the race it won't be that big. But if you are, I think there is some room to actually deliberately drive a little bit slower.
Yeah.
In order to save your tires. 10-2. We're not far away from a 109. Yeah.
Okay, that's a statement.
So for sure. So I'm now looking at. Is it one qualifying session or two qualifying sessions?
One qualifying session. There's 1 minute 49 seconds left. So I'm seeing Mills getting out of the pits right now for. He's got plenty of time to do an out lap. And Riera.
Oh, there's a crash in the pit lane. Montero just crashed in the pit lane. There was a McLaren. Otto Acosta looked like he'd spun in the pit lane, and he got.
Was that at the entrance of the pit lane?
Yep.
Oh yeah. Well, he's got.
Yeah, he has no. He's driving a Formula Ford. He has no rear wing on that car, Otto Acosta. His day is done. He will have to start P6 best case scenario, but an 11.7, nice gap behind. So no harm, no foul, but a little bit strange for sure to have an accident.
Well, not a bad spot for Acosta, because the McLarens have been steady like that in this range of positions. But when you mentioned the incident when he got in the pits, I just saw him going straight in the wall. So there was definitely something wrong, and I have no clue. Like when you're in the pits, you're not on auto drive, right? You still got to drive your car.
No. Yeah. 100%. So you have to drive the car, and expect one person at least here to get a drive-through penalty for going too fast in the pit lane, because it's very tempting in Spain. The line is right around that corner, so you want to carry speed throughout the corner, and apparently not as much speed as OTTO carried through the corner, because he ended up in the oh no wall.
I'm on board with Mills right now, Matt, because he just started his hot lap, so he's at the hairpin, the turn that you said most drivers have difficulty. Yeah, he just fought it. We saw that. Struggling with the stability right here.
It just doesn't look as smooth as Riera. Like he's hitting more of the apexes, but it just doesn't feel. It feels like we're scrubbing a bit of speed off, which again, round this, like that line around that corner.
Oh yeah. So yeah, we can already say that this is not going to be enough for Paul. In the meantime, we got Ruben on the live. We got my man Darren Brady, the Slender Churro. That's his nickname. What's up, Churro? And so far, and no specifics. Any forecast for weather and track temp? We don't know. We actually talked about that, me and Matt, in the pre-race. If there was supposed to be rain or anything, we don't know yet. But we would love to see a little bit of rain, which is the great equalizer. So hello from Spain, Ruben. Okay, so feel free to chat with us on the live. Now that I have a friend to talk racing with, I'll have also time to look more at the live. So feel free to interact with us, question us, give us your 2 cents about the SimRacingHub, F1 in general, or whatever. We're really happy to have you.
And it's 2 a.m. in Spain right now?
So I believe so, yeah.
We really do appreciate you sticking by us. We'll try and keep you awake. And
of course.
We'll try not to wake up the neighbors. But Montero did manage to jump over Janos Magasrevi into P3. So Montero found his typical usual spot, but Janos was only 1/10 away. And Mills did manage to get down to a 10.7, so he actually went faster than Riera's first attempt.
Oh, you're right.
So It's not the end of the world for sure. Like it's definitely Riera's not going to have this. It's not a cakewalk. Some other interesting players in there. Glenn Cooper managed to get into the top 10. McLaren. So McLaren are again just trying to score some good points, as you mentioned. Very, very close. Look at this: 12-2, 12-2. There's 11-7, 11-8. So there's kind of 2x2. It's a little bit Noah's Ark right now.
You're right.
You've kind of got 2,
I like that.
and then you've got kind of 3, and then another group of 2, and then a group of 2, and a group of 2. So it'll be very interesting if that's kind of how the race plays out.
All right, for our viewers, so the order right now for the quality, Riera is in first position, like as we mentioned. Josh Mills in second. Ezequiel Montero, Zeke in third position. Janos Magasrevi in fourth. Elise Tape in fifth. Otto Acosta from McLaren, that we mentioned, is driving a Formula Ford tonight in sixth position. Jean-Pierre Lalancette, which we have yet to see anything really from him because he DNF the first race. He was not part of the second. I think he was replaced by Montero in the Red Bull. Third race, I think he had an accident as well, so we haven't seen him a lot. He was part of a lot of mishaps in that race, if I remember correctly, in Shanghai. So Lalancette in seventh position. I really want to see him do good in the Red Bull, just to see what he can bring to the table. Then we got Ricardo Sr. in eighth position, Glenn Cooper in ninth, followed by Jacobo Cardoso in 10th position, Ricky Haney 11, Bill Worrell for Ferrari in 12, Sean Higgins, if I remember it correctly, is the lawnmower man in 13th position, Jeff Oppenheim in 14, John Cook in 15, Mitsalis, Tony, that is, in 16, Stefan Broderson in 17, our friend from Quebec, Cliff Van Lee Ward in 18, and Mr. Fire himself, Juan del Castillo in 19th position, wrapping up the whole field. So the drivers, I think, Matt, are getting away from the pits and in order to do their warm-up lap.
Yep, and in a warm-up lap, on the warm-up, everybody treats the warm-up very differently. Some people go out for a smoke. I've seen that before in the past. Some people are all business. Some people do practice starts. Some people do hot laps for some unknown reason. So everybody treats it a little bit differently. I kind of like to say that the winner of the warm-up fastest lap time gets the golden egg, which is worth nothing. But it's always very interesting of how everybody does things differently. I always do personally like to do a practice start myself, just to kind of get things going. A lot of guys too on the warm up lap you'll see do different strategies. You got some that will go crazy warming up the tires, and some that will not. There's a little bit of a mini race going on right here. I'm on board with Montero, who's in the back of this train.
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, somebody spins. Is that?
Yeah, it's a Williams.
Higgins? Is it Higgins?
It's a Williams. Let's say, yeah, it is Higgins.
Yeah. So the
lawnmower? Well,
the lawnmower?
Yeah, there was it was a funny thing when we were in Suzuka. He went in the grass, in Spoon, and I launched a little thing, and my friend Marty he laughed at it, and that made me laugh at my own joke, which I usually not do. But I said he John Deered his way through the grass. and now I think the other race I might have mentioned Husqvarna or something like that. So far Sean Higgins, he's our lawnmower man because he's in the grass, not that often, but it could be a running gag this season, Matt. So we're gonna follow that. But you mentioned the start, practicing the start, and I remember race 1, there was a driver, I don't know whom, because I was watching the leaders. It's kind of hard to come back on the replay sometimes, but somebody just did not start, and that created like a traffic jam, and we lost, I think, maybe 3 or 4 cars at that time. So you can actually stall on the grid and miss your start there, right?
100%, and I'm enthralled by Argenis Riera here. He has done, I want to say, 10 practice starts. Every single time he turns a corner right now, he's parking on the inside or outside, or he actually stopped very dangerously in the middle of the straight, and there was a few cars avoiding him, but clearly wanting to make sure that he continues to be P1 into turn 1, doing a lot of practice. He's going to go for another one right here.
Yeah, at the exit of the apex.
Yeah, I don't know why. Interesting though, did you notice he's in second gear? That's a trick.
Yeah, I see that.
Was learned a couple years ago.
Okay.
With the game. Not everybody uses it. Some do. I'm a first gear guy myself. Second gear definitely creates a little bit more fun, excitement in the steering wheel, because if you do lose it, you're losing it at a much higher rev range. First gear to second gear, you have that opportunity to change, which does sometimes stabilize the car mid gear. But at the end of the day, I am not the one that is winning races. So clearly, second gear is the way to go.
Well, about that, are they allowed to use traction control?
Nope.
Okay, so that second gear trick, we also use it in Gran Turismo sometimes if you got a standing start and you're not using TC, or it's just the best way to go. So I understand the concept. About that, the start practice, the way I see it, it's going downhill at the start finish straight. Slightly, there's an elevation change. Sorry, not a big one, but it feels like it. So I'm not wrong about that. So if your practice is start on a flat part of the track, it's not going to give him the same feeling as it would do on the start finish line.
Well, we'll see whether it works. But he's actually back out there again. He's going.
Yeah.
We're really not comfortable here, which is very interesting. With these starts, I mean, obviously the start is very, very important here, but typically, 1 or 2 times, and even if the 2 practice starts go bad, you can spend the time convincing yourself that it can only get better when you come to the actual race. So, interesting there from Riera for sure. Like I said, everybody does different things. The golden egg winner right now is Josh Mills with a 15.3. Means nothing. But that's something that he'll take for pride. I've seen the track temperature just floating around 41, 42. 0% rain, it does say. So as of right now, it will not rain today.
You mentioned the spec of tires is C1 to C3 for Catalunya this weekend, which is the hardest, if I'm not mistaken, of the specs, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, and now the warm-up is over, so we're going to see the cars going on track for the start of the race. For those who just joined us, don't forget to like and subscribe. You're on GTCQ TV. This is SimRacingHub F1 2024 season, round 4 at Catalunya. This is the first time since we've started the season that we're not really following the real Formula 1 calendar. These guys this week are at Miami, but we are in Spain. They're eating whatever they want there, and we're eating paella, me and Matt here in Spain, having lots of fun in Europe right now. So exactly at 2 a.m. But we're if you don't sleep at that time, you're always hungry. So that would be fun because we saw Riera dominate. Well, let's say dominate the quali session. I would love to see Mills having a better start than Riera and see that fight going on for a few laps.
For sure. It'll be interesting to see that. First off, if they can get out of the first turn without making contact. Montero, don't sleep on Montero.
Yeah, exactly.
Stay awake now. Stay awake because that glowing red Scuderia Ferrari, very noticeable. And he is going to be in the mirrors of Riera and Mills, I would believe, at the start. So that'll be very, very interesting. He hasn't left the garage yet. Okay, now he has. Good, because otherwise that would be a commentator's curse. Janos Magasrevi sitting there to pick up the pieces in 4th place. Lise Tape, very, very solid drive from him in P5. So this is where you'll really see the guys doing different things on the formation lap. Some will weave around like there's something wrong with them. And other people, personally for me, on a track with high tire wear, I really don't like to take anything out of the tires. Speaking of tires, who's got what tires on?
So far, I think that our leader, if I'm not mistaken, is on hards, and Mills is on soft. But I have been misled with that. Sometimes the color
it's changing now. It's changing now.
Oh, so you're right.
Yeah, there is a delay. I thought that it wouldn't get me, and it did get me. So why don't we wait just 2 more turns just to give it its opportunity here before we look foolish? But it does look like Riera is on soft.
Yeah,
Mills
agreed.
Still showing hards.
I used to have that on my my Google.
There we go. Softs.
Life timing sheet.
I see softs for everybody up until Otto Acosta currently is showing mediums for myself. I believe it defaults everybody to the hards. So if you do see a soft or a medium, that should be correct. So Otto Acosta is the one really with the different tires right here. Oh,
you're right. He's on mediums. So Senior
interesting.
Soft Cooper. I'm browsing to every driver right now, trying to figure out what. I'm at Ricky Haney right now, but the angle is not providing me. Okay, Haney on soft as well, Whirl as well. Higgins is on hards. Yep.
Yeah.
True that.
Higgins.
Oppenheim as well. Captain Cook on soft. Mitsalis, I think, is on mediums. Broderson as well. Yeah.
A few guys at the back definitely doing some different strategy. Let's watch OTTO and see whether he can stay with these guys the first few laps.
I got my camera on Mills right now just to see in front and behind him.
I'll keep an eye from a little bit further back.
Drivers getting on the grid. Round 4, SimRacingHub 2024 season. We're at Barcelona, Catalunya circuit. The Spanish Grand Prix. I'm Francois Goulet. We got Matt Hartley with us today having fun. Lights on. 4, 5, and lights out. The race is on at Catalunya. Good start from Riera, and we got Mills right behind him, and a good start from the Haas car as well.
Otto with a bad start. Acosta with the mediums, really going backwards here. He's trying to go and up the inside, but his teammates overtook him already. Cooper.
I think they might have touched.
Cooper up to 6th.
Great job from him, but I think maybe Mills and Riera barely touched front to back. Doesn't seem to be anything there.
Sorry, Otto Acosta. Acosta's going backwards. So, he's in the wall.
He's spun. He spun.
He spins. He's back.
He's in the wall
again. No, we've avoided the. This is a disaster for Acosta. He might park it. You could see him think for 2 seconds whether he's going to limp it home. But that's just was it the mediums? Just a terrible start from him.
Perhaps it was, yeah, because the cold tires and the medium compound, I think he might have misjudged it, but he's still active on track. Do you think he can recover from that?
I've seen Acosta do some drives before, but this would be one heck of a drive if he was to recover from this point. 19 cars out there on a track you can't pass. Got to go the entire lap before you can fix the car too. It's not like you crash in the last 2 corners. It's going to be tough for him for sure. So how are we looking up front?
Riera leading.
He's closing in. Mills is closing in.
Yeah.
Is he going to go for an early move?
Ooh.
He would love to do this because
close.
He's seen Riera's speed, and there are definitely times when you know the guy in front of you is a little bit faster. You want to try to get out front early on, but that was quite feisty for lap 1.
You're right, and in the position of Mills, I don't know. I'm a patient driver myself. Sometimes I would love to. I would actually try to get as close as possible and get a better try, because with his try that he just did on turn 1, he actually lost a little bit of real estate from Riera, but he looks like he's coming back a little. The gap between them is exactly 0.6.
I'm going to tell you something that you've heard before, but Juan del Castillo, he's on fire, but he's on fire in 13th place. He's actually climbing up,
you're right,
all the way up 6 spots already, and he is all over the back of Bill Worrell. Worrell with the worry right now, because this blue Williams Alpine, who knows? It's an Alpine. Worrell had a good exit there coming out of the last turn, but he's on fire.
And
not for the first time.
Yeah, Acosta is back on track, and you mentioned Del Castillo on fire, but with the medium compound.
Wow, that's
impressive.
He's going. I mean, you look at what happened to Acosta, and for Castillo to move forward, I mean, he probably just kind of picked his way through. But very, very interesting for sure. So, do we want to run through the order, perhaps?
Yeah, Riera in first position. We got Mills in second, following close. So he's within the second. This race is very much going on between the 2 drivers that is providing us with great spectacle from the start of the season. Then you got Janos Magasrevi in third. So he overtook Montero, but these guys were quite close together. Montero is right on his 6th. But there's something on Montero's car. There was smoke. So if you can explain to me what this smoke was, because there was no braking zone.
If it
might have been the glitch. Yeah, it was smoke coming out of the gearbox.
It could be the.
Look, it's still there. Do you see it?
Yeah, let me see right here. Yeah, oh yeah, this is a problem because that means that you have ran the radiator too low, and you can see on the straight how it goes away. The smoke has gone away because obviously on the straight there is more wind going through the car, which is going to cool it down. But then when he goes through that middle section of the lap, when there's not as much time to cool it down, it's going to be a problem. There's no way that car is going to last 66 laps if it is already smoking at this point. I'd be shocked.
Yeah, that move is explainable. So he got out of the slipstream in order to cool this car down. So this is how can I say it, how pinpoint on the unrealism that this game can provide us. You know, everything is thought, and that's why he did that move to cool down his car. We don't have that kind of let's say of attention to detail in console games usually.
But maybe it's a good thing, because I will tell you from experience, playing with the radiator to that level, it's fool's gold, because you can potentially gain 1 to 2 tenths, maybe 3 tenths, maybe. And the negative is that you will crash out of the race or you'll explode. So realistically speaking, radiator, there's been seasons where we've just put the radiator on maximum and not played with it.
Ferrari overtaking the Mercedes right here. So Zeke and Janos in the fight. I don't know what happened to Janos actually, because he was quite comfortable in front of Montero.
Yeah, and the DRS, of course, from Montero will have helped once he goes past. But Janos, I mean, you can see Janos has fallen back quite a lot from the front too.
Yes, there might have been, he might have had an incident or just a little mishap.
Yeah, and you can see that Zeke did not. He was not a fan of that, and he took third place away. Will he be able to close down the front guys, or will he explode into a fiery fireball? We will find out very, very shortly.
Well, that's good for him, because he won't have to get out of the slipstream in order to cool down his car.
Higgins just got overtaken by Jacobo Cardozo, who's moved his way up.
Look at this train.
Oh yes,
wow.
we got a dogfight.
So from
Cardozo. The captain ran wide. The captain ran wide, and Castillo is overtaking his teammate. And the captain is down to 13th, John Cook. Castillo up to 12. This is a dogfight for sure.
Yeah, this is a good race.
But for ninth place.
Yeah, well, we don't mind the place as long as we have great racing in our screens. You and I think we're gonna enjoy that a lot, because so far this race has provided. We're at lap 6 out of 66. Riera leading with a comfortable lead of 2 seconds over Mills. Montero took third place, but now let's say Janos, Elise, and Glenn Cooper are close to each other, within 1.5 seconds from each other. And behind there we got Ricardo Senior, and after Senior we got that train that we mentioned earlier. So Cardozo, Higgins, Worrell, Del Castillo, and Cook. Wrapping up a little pain train of 5 cars from 9th to 13th.
I was just looking at the times. Montero was 3 tenths slower than Josh Mills on that lap, so I don't think he's going to be gaining. He doesn't look too far away though. It's strange, just different times of the track, I guess, right? But he didn't look that too far away, but he is still losing ground currently on the first 2. Let's go back to this train, my favorite train.
Yeah, that's where I am right now. I'm watching, I'm trying to watch in the middle of it, so Higgins or Worrell.
Castillo got loose. Is John Cook going to try and take that place back from his teammate?
Oh, he's right. He's right on his tail. Oh, yeah, right. The Ferrari's off. He's going to lose a ton of speed.
From one Alpine. From 2 Alpines.
Yeah.
Both Alpines. That's what happens when you go alpine skiing on the grass. You get overtaken by the Alpines.
Screw that.
We got Cliff Van Leeuward, the 13-letter juggernaut last name. We thought we had a long last name last year, a few years ago, with Samuel Campisciano. But this guy Cliff, he's got this 13 letters in his name. He's having a quiet drive in 14th.
Yeah, we'll call him Cliff.
Cliff, there you go. Cliff is easy.
That's easier. And Oppenheim is that was not Oppenheim. That's Otto Acosta. Now Acosta is has come back from his little crash, so he's back on track. Although he's a lap down, so we're seeing him in the middle of the field that we're not used to usually in early race to see a car being lapped that way. So we might sometimes misjudge the positions right there. The two Alpines, Matt, they're still one behind each other, and we're on the start-finish straight, so there might be slipstream.
Yeah, they're behind Sean Higgins. Sean's been around for a long time. You know, very, very experienced driver in the league for sure. He's always right around the point scoring position, and he is in P10 right now, which gets him 1 point. So he's holding on and wanting to fight tooth and nail for that position. And you've got Del Castillo, who, remember, started P19. He's
good.
11th.
He's doing a great operation, Del Castillo. On the medium tire, we mentioned it earlier, his teammate is right behind him. So we're keeping an eye on them because this is the fight that is providing us with the most action right now.
One thing that is very, very interesting, I looked at Montero's lap times. Typically in this league, you will see some very consistent lap times. Like, you can see guys literally pumping in 14.7, 14.7, 14.7, 14.8. He's struggling to keep it consistent. He's done a 15.0, a 14.8, a 15.3, and a 15.7. That might not sound that bad if you're new to sim racing, but not typically something that you would see from SimRacingHub.
Hey Matt, let's keep. I would say let's keep an eye on the Alpine and the Williams, because they're so close to each other, and the Ferrari was in the mix, arriving at turn 10 last lap. So something's gonna happen here.
Here we go.
Yep. Inside job.
You see the little shake and bake he gave him, trying to break the stream? Oh, that didn't work. Sorry. But that was some good fighting. Higgins is now down to my favorite position, P11.
And, oh, really? You have to explain that.
For it. You get nothing for it. You put all that work in. If you want me to guess where Otto Acosta is going to finish at the end of this two-hour-long comeback, it's going to be 11th. And it's going to be, you may as well just park it and put it into the wall. But that's just the way that the cookie crumbles sometimes.
But you never know. Oh, wow. Yeah, you see at the behind them.
Yeah.
Higgins under attack from Captain Cook. So it's a lot of action.
Good drive from Cook so far. Really, really good. He needs to make sure he doesn't find himself attached to that Williams at some point, because that would be a real shame. Definitely some chance for a double point score for the Alpine.
In the meantime, Matt, Lalancette in 5th position on Glenn Cooper. Glenn protecting the inside. Can Lalancette do the over-under, and overtake him?
I will tell you from experience that Glenn Cooper is the best defensive driver in the league. He is very, very difficult to overtake, and you've already seen that. I have had many a miserable Thursday afternoon trying to get past Glenn Cooper. Oh!
Lalancette spinning.
Don't hit
catching
the
in the car.
Do not hit that accelerator. You've got, with this league and this car, you've got to make sure you are fully ready to go before you try and put the accelerator.
But what about dirty tires? When you come back on track from, let's say, a Mahindra run like this one, what's happening? How long do you suffer from the dirty tires?
Mentally, forever. You never get past it. It lives with you for the rest of your life. But not typically something that's a big issue in the league. The main problem can be there is not a lot of grip off the racing line sometimes. So you can get out of rhythm and out of sync, and you immediately, when you get back...
Worrell, sorry Matt, but Worrell and Higgins side by side. I think Higgins went wide. Worrell tried to take advantage. They're side by side on the second to last corner. Now Worrell behind Higgins, but he's gonna have the slipstream on the start-finish straight. So this should happen right now. I think the Ferrari is gonna go past the Williams right here.
Here he comes. Should be easy, like taking candy from a Francois Goulet. Easy, squeezy.
Man, I like your sense of humor, man. You're quite refreshing. Thank you for being here, by the way. For those who are not familiar with our program, I just have a new friend right now, and he's on fire. Not as much fire as
Castillo?
Yeah,
Castillo?
like Juan del Castillo. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to watch him every time I hear that word. I gotta keep an eye out.
Exactly. But you know what? I think he was the Alpine on fire at Suzuka, if I'm not mistaken. So twice Del Castillo and Fuego. We can call him Juan and Fuego. Juan Fuego.
Look at what happened to Elise Tape. I believe he was trying to overtake Cooper, correct? And Cooper put up that one defensive move, and now Tape has thrown in the towel. Like, he is 3 seconds away, wow. And Cooper just has that. There's an invisible force field behind that car that just, if you don't take your opportunity with Cooper, he just finds a way to hold you behind for 66 laps. So, very, very interesting, for sure, how he manages to do that. Castillo in 11th, is again going at Cook. These two Alpines are just, is there a string between them? Like, they're pulling each other along nicely.
Exactly. There's 0.4 of a second separating them. We are at lap 12 out of 66. On the live right now, we got, I mentioned Ruben, Darren Brady, no specifics. Mitch Johnson just joined us, and Brennan Evans, who's in what team? I didn't go through the teams because I still have the list, but I went through them at round 1. So I'm sorry, I won't go through it right now, but thanks for being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And we got my friend Marty Simon, F1 Podcast, the best French F1 podcast available on Spotify and all the main streaming platform. He's a real F1 enthusiast. So if we have questions, you and I, Matt, we can always ask him because he knows a lot. I should introduce him to you to him because you would get along pretty good. He's a steady guy. So the two Alpines, we were mentioning it, were right next to each other, but there's a little gap been created there.
Wasn't Castillo ahead of the captain, or was I mistaken?
He was. I think he was.
To be honest with you, it's very difficult to say. Answers on a postcard, please, because they keep changing positions. But I've not seen this pace out of John Cook for quite some time. I got to be honest. He's very, very strong position. He's
on the soft tire. So now we are at lap 13. Where do you think the pit window is going to open for the, let's say, the soft tire?
The pit window, you would hope, first off, it's going to open when the first car smashes straight through it. But you would hope that if you're thinking right here, I mean, one-stop strategy with the soft tires is not going to happen unless you're going 25 laps. So you're looking at a 2-stop strategy. Realistically, you'd want to probably go 2 stints maybe on softs. You do have to use 2 tires, I believe, still. They change the rules every year with that. There's the pit lane. Magus Revi is in. He's the first guy.
Yep, looking at it right now, he was in 7th position.
Long pit lane.
Is he going on the soft again? I think he is. Yes. Well, that's what I have in my screen.
14 laps. I mean, if you go another 15 or 16 laps here, that's going to get you to lap 30. He's going to need a hard stint at the end, or he's going to be making an extra pit stop today. So Magus Revi already struggling with the tire wear.
In that regard, I was talking about that last race with the people on the live for the fast lap at the end of the race. Do you think it would be better to do, let's say, your hard stint right now, even if you have your fuel load, a heavier car because of the fuel load, and keep your a set of soft to the end in order to produce a hot lap and maybe grab that extra point?
The extra point typically is not something that you would really consider or think about, because unless you are, cruising out front, then really it's 1 point. It's not really worth that much. But what does make the decision, as somehow, how did Magus Revi, by the way, come out between the two Alpines? Like, it was the only gap out there, and he came out between the two closest guys. But anyway, typically it depends on your race. If you don't have anybody around you, you perhaps will put the hards on the second stint. because that way you're like you have a bit of a buffer.
Yep.
If you are wanting to overtake somebody, you'll stick with the softs and you'll try and get it, and then you'll kind of do the pain at the end. We've seen crazy things. Even people pit on the last lap, going into the last lap to change the tires in this league. So you never quite know.
Oh, Magus Revi and the Alpine of John Cook battling right now. So this is the battle I'm looking, and while we're seeing this, no specifics on the live is telling us, wonder who's going to pull the undercut. Yeah, I would love to see an undercut by Mills, but there's 7 seconds to grab. So
at this point, unless you're right on the gearbox, which, you know, the two Alpines are next to each other, to be honest with you, it's too early. It's too early in the race to really worry about that, because you're just trying to stretch those tires out to make an extra, you know, one less stop. You know,
Gotcha.
if you can go 18 laps on the softs versus 16, it's massive at the end of the race. So a lot of these guys, undercut, not something that they will be thinking about right now. Like you said, unless at the end of the race, the final stint, Josh Mills gets close, for sure, definitely a possibility. Magus Revi is having a problem trying to overtake Cook, and I saw him weaving around a little bit. I don't know what he was hoping to achieve with that, hoping that the captain would maybe, you know, pull the anchor out, but that didn't happen.
well, you know, every now and then where I race, I don't wiggle like that, but I like to point my nose and maybe pretend I'm going for a dive bomb or something, just to try to create a reaction from the driver in front. Might have been what he tried, but he's right on his gearbox. If he stays like that, he might have a run going out of this next turn.
It's already killed. If there was any type of an undercut, it's already killed. He's killing the tires. It's terrible, terrible, terrible. Look, he's
pointing his nose. Yeah.
You can point, but the captain has full right here to take this position. And the thing is that there is a point where Cook will start to lose time. But if Magus Revi does have to make an extra stop today, this could be for position later on in the race.
You're right. Because
who knows?
He has to overtake the captain.
He had to lift so much in that last turn. Like, he lost so much time. Ricardo Senior is into the pits.
But he's losing a lot of time right now with his new tires being held up by the Alpine, which is on old tires.
Oh, those new tires are already marshmallows. Like, you know, coming out and having to give it the beans like he is right now. You know, Cook, it's amazing that Cook has gone so long on these tires. Like, Magus Revi, very good driver. He had to pit, what, lap 14?
Yep.
And Cook is keeping up with him. Oh,
lap 18. Wide. Oh, yeah. Looked like they really slowed down, both of them.
Will he do it here? You can't do it here. No, you see,
wow.
Can't
not
do it here.
Giving an inch.
No, this is very, very interesting.
Yeah, so you mentioned it. They might be, even though they're not on the same pit strategy. Oh, there's a Red Bull on the side of the road. Who's that? Is it Lalancette?
Mills is in the pits.
Mills is in the pits. Okay, so that's not...
He's in the pits. Okay.
Wait, I'm trying to find Jean-Pierre Lalancette. Jean-Pierre Lalancette retired the car.
Yeah.
The Red Bull has, again, retired the car. This is heartbreaking. We haven't seen Lalancette finish a race so far.
So I won't have to learn how to pronounce his name correctly. Not until
I guess
next
not.
week.
I guess not. Well, you and I will practice that.
He did it. Janos did it after only 70 laps.
Finally, that cost him a lot. You're right.
It did. It really, really did. And Montero right now, who hasn't yet to stop, he is laughing. He's absolutely laughing. Like, let's look at the lap times between Montero and Magus Revi, the last few laps. Montero now is starting to get consistent. Look at these times now. 15.3, 15.3, 15.5, 15.4, 15.6, 15.7. So very, very consistent from Montero. His tires are not going off, but he does dive into the pits right now.
Yep.
Magus Revi, 16.5, 16.3, 1 second every lap Magus Revi lost being behind the captain.
That's unfortunate for him, and we were saying before we saw the Red Bull on the side of the road that, yeah, even though you're not on the same tire strategy, since the race is early, you know, it's real young, and you never know what's going to happen, you might be fighting the guy that you need to overtake at the end right now. So
it's going to be close between Magus Revi and Montero. But Montero has done it, and that is... So you talk about the undercut. The overcut just worked, and because of that reason, Montero has complete domination now in this battle because he's got fresher tires, track position. He should be off and away, and Janos will be struggling and honestly looking to pit in the next 10 to 12 laps. So that was definitely a killer. The danger with the undercut here is that reason that you cannot overtake very easily. You cannot undercut anybody if you go out into traffic. And somehow he found himself between the two mountainous Alpines.
That's unfortunate for Magus Revi, because without John Cook defending, that was John Cook if I'm not mistaken, right? Without John Cook defending as hard as he did on him, I think he would have made it work.
Josh Mills on Glenn Cooper.
Oh, look at that! Yeah,
because he just pitted. Now, did you see
Nicely
right
done.
there, children? Did you see, children? Glenn Cooper is a very experienced driver. Glenn Cooper did not defend Josh Mills. He's not racing Josh Mills. Okay.
Yep. Agreed.
There is a very, very difference, and this is the thing that he does so well, is he knows exactly when to defend. It can be lap 3, but he knows who to defend against. He knows who he is racing against. Elise Tate pitted. He's come out in between the Alpines.
Ooh. Again, that's the
Just
new
behind the
trend.
Alpines.
That's the new trend, Matt, coming out between the Alpines. Oh well, he's behind
he lost
Del Castillo, almost between the Alpines.
That seems to be the area to take a look for. So yeah, running down the order really quick. I mean, Riera, complete domination right now because he's still oh no, he did pit because there's only 2 seconds between. Josh Mills is flying. Riera took the mediums.
Riera, you're right.
Riera took the mediums, and Josh Mills is flying. He's catching him up, no problem. This is different strategies, Josh, and this is very, very smart from Mills because Mills has seen, okay, on a straight 1-1 battle, I don't have the Aston Martin speed, so I need to... He's going to kind of try and bait Riera, I think, into his fight here today.
Gotcha.
There could be a chance. Maybe Riera makes a mistake, crashes into him. There's nothing better than when a guy who's faster than you crashes into you, because you just know that so long as your car isn't too damaged, that you potentially just ruined his race.
Well, about that, now that we know that Riera is on the medium and Mills took another set of soft, the window of opportunity for Mills until his tires are not as performant or they're not performing over the medium is about. Can you tell us maybe an amount of laps, or of course it's going to depend on how much you cook him, but usually if you take care of him and you do a steady race without making that much mistakes.
Well, the one thing to look
what's
at,
the window?
It depends every race, but if you do look at the two guys that we know have had different tires on the entire race and driving the same car has been John Cook and Castillo. And at no point has John Cook started to lose ground on Castillo, and he still hasn't pitted yet. So I believe that the softs hang on very, very nicely compared with the mediums. Just based on that data alone. You can see the difference in time. Riera actually pulled out sometime that last lap. So I think if there is a window for the top guys, it's already passed. But it doesn't seem to be too great of a difference between those two. Now, the hard compound, when we put those on, those might be Fred Flintstone tires. So we have to kind of keep an eye on those ones. Sometimes that's happened in the past where they're just not usable. The
gap is decreasing right now between Mills and Riera. That's what we want to see. Let's remind our viewers that Riera is behind Mills 4 points in the championship since his last week victory. Great racing between these two drivers. They're now on different tire compound, one pit stop each. So Mills is bringing the fight back to Riera slowly but truly. Mills has the best lap so far, but not by a big margin. And alongside me, Matt Hartley, analyzing the race like no one ever did. So fun stuff, man. Seriously, I'm enjoying this program right now. Like to thank everybody on the live as well. No Specifics, FR Podcast, Mitch Johnson, Brandon Evans, my friend Darren Brady, Ruben, who has yet to comment since maybe 30 minutes, and my friend Churro, Darren Brady. This race is fun, and so far we had a little paint train. We had great battles between the Alpine. I'm looking at the gaps right now, Matt, and
Very
there's
interesting.
Yeah.
What is John Cook doing to those tires? Because Castillo, who started on the mediums, has pitted before
You're right.
his teammate has.
Wow.
So, what is happening with the Alpine?
Well, he's not cooking his tire, is he?
Hey, there we go. That was
All
great.
right. Yeah, I had to bring one. You did about 10 of them, so I had to. I had to do my first one.
Canadian John Cook. He's having a drive of his life. He's doing absolutely great right now, and he really does put the work in on the time. Bill Worrell also in 7th. That's a very, very impressive showing for him so far in the Ferrari. You know, Ferrari getting some good points right now. Glenn Cooper, Otto Acosta's not going to score many points today. Cooper, it's all on him, and he is just solid right there. And look at the gap. There's still 10 seconds.
Tape and Whirl, they are close to each other. Tape on Whirl on the inside right here, turn 10.
Well
done.
Good driving from Bill, though, because he saw him coming, and he definitely could have closed his nose there.
Yeah.
When you were saying earlier about attracting attention, so something that I do to counteract that is I actually don't drive with mirrors on at all.
Okay.
So it's the old go-karting way where you only worry about what's in front of you, and then you have the look behind button instead. So instead you just do a quick look behind. At the end of the day, if you put your car in the right place, you should be able to kind of predict what the other driver is going to do. So I don't know how many guys also do that, but that is something that can be, so nice move, but I counteract your move with a different move where I don't see your little wigglies.
Del Castillo and Cook. So Cook just got out of pits, and Del Castillo just passed him.
The undercut.
Barely. Yeah, exactly. Or they're under Cook. And
that's two. That's two.
So
there we go.
So the two Alpine drivers again, and look at that, Riera and Mills within a second of each other.
Which is the DRS window, of course.
Yeah, and from 10 to 13 as well, they're in a tight gap. So fun thing to watch, but now that Mills is right on Riera's tail, that's what I'm going to look at because I've been waiting for that since the beginning of the race.
Yep, and obviously Mills needs to get this pass done 3 laps ago because he's on the soft tires. And it looks like he will be able to. Riera lost a little bit of ground in traffic right there, and Mills kind of caught up. He's going to be in the DRS zone for this back straight. You could see the dirty air right there. Mills is going to have to turn in a little bit sooner now that he's behind Riera, which he will learn. That the removal of the chicane at the end of the lap has actually done the opposite of helping overtaking for us because it has created that wash through these last 2 turns. When the chicane, you used to be able to, if you hit the curbs correctly, like really struggling, having to lift through that last corner, but he is going to have a chance here.
He's coming like a mad train right now.
Riera won't even defend it. He will let it go, and we have a new leader of the race.
Well done from Mills. I think Riera knows exactly where he is in his strategy.
But he's a second behind already. Like, Riera really got out of the throttle. So I have a theory here, which is that the mediums, they don't seem to be working too well. I mean, look at how easily Mills is pulling away. When Riera had got the gap, I believe, to 6.8 seconds in the first stint. He's really struggling on the mediums, Riera, and the wear doesn't seem to be lasting very much longer, as we saw from the Alpines. So I think it's more one of these things of when do you take the pain? And I think that Riera is taking that pain right now.
Well, Mills caught him fairly quickly because there was quite a big gap between these two before the pit stops. I think it was around 7 seconds. So he's going to create a gap, but as I asked earlier, there's going to be a window of performance on the soft tire that is going to decrease right now.
But this is why it's so hard to guess where that window is.
Oh, there's a fight here. Higgins and Cliff.
All right, where were we? Oh, Cooper's in.
Right in front.
I was just about to say that Higgins, that Cooper hadn't pitted yet, and he pitted.
There you go.
I see it. Oppenheim.
There's a lot of action right now on track. People getting out of the pits. Janos, because I can see that on my telemetry who's close to each other.
Tape is going to come out. Cooper's going to come out in front of Elise Tape, I believe. But Cooper managed to do 26 laps on the same tires that Janos Magusrevi did 14 laps. So
impressive.
it is all about how you drive. It is not about anything else. It's about how you drive them. The advantage that you have when you are faster than everybody else is you can drive slower intentionally to save the tires. And Cooper, I don't know how he managed to do that, but Cooper's going to go on a one-stop strategy here. Did he? Yep, he put the mediums on. Cooper's going one-stop.
Great observation. I want to mention about Otto Acosta that had this unfortunate event. He's in 16th position, was last. You know, we never know what's going to happen. He might be able to grab that 10th position if we lose a few cars. Because so far there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, there's around five cars still a lap down, and Acosta is not the last of these drivers. So he's coming back. You know, it's a decent drive from him considering what happened in the beginning of the race.
Did you see what?
Oh, there's a car off track here. It is a Williams. That's Sean Higgins. Now, we said he was Mr. Lawnmower. Now he's close, Mr. Sandbag.
Yep. Oh, there's somebody else is falling down the order. It's Bill Worrell. He's in the pits. So Bill is pit. Again, he made the tires go very long as well.
True that.
Yeah, so Acosta, just so you know, again, children, watch and learn. What did Acosta do when his life was most miserable? He put on the Fred Flintstone tires, the hards, because he's like, okay, I'm going to try and gain something back by going long. And that's what his game is right now. He has to try and make up some time somehow, so he's going to try and do one less pit stop.
Funny you mentioned Flintstone, because with the crash, I think he broke the bottom of his car, and I think he's propulsing his car with his legs.
Josh Mills came out in traffic. Oh, the back.
Oh, goodness, the Ferrari.
That was Worrell, I'm assuming.
I think it is, yeah. It was.
It's not going to be Zeke, so it has to be. But
it is Worrell.
Somehow,
Confirmed.
Riera didn't overtake and catch up that much. That'll have angered. There's nothing more angry in the world than that happening. I mean, to be fair on Bill Worrell's turn, the pit lane exit here is tough, but he needs to have seen those leaders coming.
Through that. It's not the worst we've seen. I think the one in Shanghai was a bit sketchier.
Tape and
Cooper, yeah.
Cooper. And Cooper didn't fight that one. Cooper is just, he's playing checkers, everybody's playing chess. He's just deciding when to fight. And Cooper's on the medium tires, Tape is on the soft tires, so Cooper's like,
that is experience right there. Not cooking his tires, trying to defend a position. That's clever. I like that. I like that kind of driving, that kind of approach of a race. And when you mentioned it, I totally agree with that. You pick up your fights, and at the end of the race, you're here to fight. You know, you live to fight another day sometimes.
Well, everybody seems to make the mistake if you think that you're racing against the other drivers. It's not correct. You're actually racing against the clock. It's the first person to finish the 66 laps. So there is a certain point where you just don't want to lose time on the clock. And that's the thing that Cooper's just trying to do right now, is trying to really pick his battles. The last time that he defended, he managed to keep that position. So he would have lost time had he let the guy go in front, because he would have then been his dirty air. So very smart from him so far. And, you know, he's been in sim racing for former champion 10, 12 years ago now, when we were young boys. But very experienced. Magus Revi is into his favorite place, the pit lane.
The pit lane, yeah. And look at Ricardo Sr. and Del Castillo. Not a big gap between these two. I think Del Castillo might have the run with the slipstream here. Definitely, yeah. He's going to try it at turn one.
And
it's done.
Look at what tires Magus Revi has. He has the Flintstones, because he has understood that his tire. Oh, he almost binned it with the Flintstones.
Wow, yeah. I think you jinxed him, so be careful when you mention anything like that. You might have jinxed him. He might be listening to us.
This is the danger when you put on these tires, especially when you come out of pits. It's going to take a few laps for you to really learn where they are most dangerous. And now we're going to see a stint of pain from Magus Revi as he tries to resync himself. He's going to have to use the hard tires, and he's not going to he's not going to do a less pit stop than everybody else. So somehow Magus Frevi's going to have to catch Cooper on worse tires, and he's still going to do one pit stop more than him. So that can just show you how you drive makes a big difference.
Zeke, in the meantime, is in no man's land in third position. The gap, Matt, between Riera and Mills. Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. I was looking at Montero. This is, I think it's an Alfa Romeo.
Well,
let me see. It's Oppenheim. It's Oppenheim.
Yep.
He's in the kitty litter, so and he's waiting for the cars to pass.
Yep, which is smart.
But you mentioned that turn early in the race. That's where everybody struggled.
It is surprising that he's one of the only few that's actually gone off so far. Because
you're right. True that. That's also true. And I don't think he has damage. I think he just spun, went into the sand trap, coming back from that.
I didn't see what happened to Broderson, his teammate, but he is out of the race. So that is the lone Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, the second DNF. Broderson, I haven't seen it as well. I don't think there was any fire. Hey, we got flowers from my friend Marty. He said that we're doing a very good duo. Well, we just got acquainted, so we're learning. Yeah,
Is this how much is it? How much are they worth? What can I sell them for? Like, can I get some baby? Can I get baby formula?
Probably, yeah. Well, I think you need. Yeah, you need a few. You need a little. You need formula. I do not need it anymore because my kids are a little bit older. But yeah, I would actually give you all the. Yeah, I give you all the profits from that if you want.
You know,
my gift from me to you.
Thank you. Who else needs the formula is well, it's everybody actually versus these front two. The gap between Riera and Montero is 24 seconds.
Well, look at the gap between Mills and Riera. Decreasing right now. Yep.
Yeah, it's coming down. Riera is still in a good spot. And this is the confidence that he has, that he can give up the race, the lead of the race, and know that he's still technically odds-on favorite to win the race right now.
I'm looking at the gaps right now. Nobody's quite close. I would love to go on board with Riera, actually, for that chase, maybe for a lap, just to show our viewers how precise and calm and steady he is behind the wheel, like we saw in the quali.
Sure. So he's coming just past Kamsa corner. We're going down the back straight. We're still braking probably about 80 meters before the corner. He actually is hitting a few more apexes right now than he was in qualifying. Of course, the times in qualifying was a 10.3. We're going to be lapping in the 14s right now, I believe.
Huge difference.
Yeah, you can see how it does close up. Easy flat still through that last turn. You don't want to take too much out of the tires. Down the back straight, this is when you can have a drink. Nothing bubbly.
You're right.
As you told me. And then into the first two turns, there's quite a lot of elevation change through that part of the circuit. Nice and tight on the inside, and the car is not rolling out too wide, which means not scrubbing off speed. The line around this corner will be interesting. See, again, tighter than he was in qualifying and waiting to get on the power. Again, very, very smooth. He's deliberately driving this car slower than he can right now in order to protect those front tires, I believe. Although, actually, in SimRacingHub this year, the rear tires are apparently the bigger issue than the front tires.
And since we're on the subject of racing, usually I come with a little history. So you mentioned Pastor Maldonado winning here. Also, this is the track where Max Verstappen got his first win on his first race with Red Bull. I think it was in 2016, if I'm not mistaken. That is to confirm. Maybe Marty can tell us on the live if I'm right or not. 2016, Max Verstappen first win. Not sure. Got to confirm that. Also, it was because the two Mercedes driver, crashed onto each other at lap 1. Rosberg pushing Hamilton in the grass. And if you guys like any kind of racing, I highly recommend that you watch the 2009 MotoGP race here, which is the best MotoGP race I think ever, and there was a huge battle between Valentino Rossi and Lorenzo. Even if you don't like motorcycle racing, you have to see that. I don't know if you ever saw that, Matt, that battle between Rossi and Lorenzo at Catalunya. Exact same layout, but this is a track that provided us with great excitement.
I have not, but I will.
I will send you that video with pleasure. I will send you a little wrap-up.
What I will send you with pleasure is the onboard with Sean Higgins right now, because he is behind Bill Worrell.
Oh yes, sir.
And
well thought.
We are going tighter. We are on better tires. We are looking. Oh no! No! Don't be doing anything like that.
But it's gonna happen now. Look at that. It's gonna happen now.
Oh yeah, it should do. Senior's in the pits. Ricardo Senior is in the pits. Is he gonna come out around this battle? Or
perhaps yes. He's just getting out of it.
No, I think he'll be okay.
See. Oh yeah, right. They're but look, if he, okay, right.
Yep.
I was actually scared of what could have happened if the car was a little bit further, with trying to pass on the inside and having that car on the pit lane exit.
Yep. But he got the pass done. Higgins. So Higgins again. Look at what position Sean Higgins is in. P10. He's again in that points playing position. So he's had a few excursions, but the experience has clawed its way back, and he's managed to find himself back up to P10 in the Williams. His teammate Richard Haney, usually further up the field, not having the best time. Potentially not in love with his car right now. Somebody may have left a few tools in there maybe to weigh it down, but he's still solid in 13th. But Otto Acosta is up to 15th. We'll keep an eye on him in case he can steal a point. Elise Tape pulled away from Glenn Cooper. Montero, like you said, racing absolutely nobody, racing the cameraman.
No man's land.
Two Mercedes back to back, and two Alpines back to back.
Well, I want to mention the gentleman move by John Cook, who was the slice of ham in the Aston Martin Red Bull sandwich. So he decided to just get out of line and let Riera pass, so he lost a little bit of time here. We got a confirmation about 2016 Max Verstappen at 18 years young from my friend Marty. Thank you, Marty, confirming that. So far, I have done good. I was good on my informations, but when I need confirmation, Marty is always there to provide me with the right information. In the meantime, we're watching Bill Worrell and Higgins. They're close to each other, but not that much that they're going to overtake each other. Del Castillo and Jacobo Cardoso. Oh, Del Castillo, the speed he was having in that turn compared to Cardoso in front, I think it's a matter of seconds. It's going to happen right now before turn 1.
Here we go, but he might defend it. It's going to be close enough.
Ooh, he was so close. They almost touched. They almost touched, Matt, right here. I think it was a bit dangerous. Yeah. I don't think Del Castillo anticipated that much speed compared to the Mercedes.
Both very, very experienced drivers as well. Been in the series for a long time. We have quite a large South American presence in SimRacingHub. Same time zone as North America, of course. So Janos Magistrevi, lives in Miami.
There's a penalty for Josh Mills. What's going on here?
He took a penalty. It couldn't have been speeding in the pit lane because you have to do that within 3 laps of pitting.
Do you think it's about? Oh, but wait, he's on the.
No, he just pitted. I think he must have just pitted.
Exactly. He's on the medium compound.
Yes. So I was going to say this. I have some good news for you, which is that we should see an overtake today on the circuit because Mills is going to come out on the new tires, right? Same tires as Riera, but new. So he's going to continue to pull out that gap. Riera is going to put on the super, super soft, sticky, lovely, glorious tires at the end. It should be like taking candy from a Francois Goulet, but we will have to find out if that's the case. But either way, we'll see a pass on track, I think, to...
wait, okay, but he's going back into pits to serve the penalty, which is, I think it's right.
Reading in the pit... Who said that there might be a drive-through for speeding in the pit lane in this race.
I think somebody mentioned it on the live, or was it? I dreamt it about it last. Yeah, I think someone mentioned it, but I can't put my finger on it. But look at that! It's a stop-go penalty for. Is it a 10-second penalty?
That's 10-second penalty.
And he has to. So explain to me one thing. He has the penalty, and he has to serve it in the pits. There's no way he can serve it like getting that 10 seconds, wiped off his performance sheet at the end of the race.
Even if he was to do that, I believe in the last 3 laps, even if he didn't serve it, I think the game would disqualify him.
Oh, okay, I get that. So this is unfortunate for Mills because he was having a great comeback, and that is actually preventing us from having that fight up front, unless Riera makes the same mistake.
Which, would be... And guess who is lurking in the wings? Ezequiel Montero, sitting right there in P2. Argenis Riera typically in the past, unless it's a connection issue or he loses brakes, Riera can be hard on his brakes. So that can happen sometimes. This circuit, not particularly hard on brakes. We should explain the reason why a circuit will be hard on brakes is often if there's a lot of straights followed by slow corners. Canada, for example, terrible on brakes. You have to intentionally save your brakes most of the race in order to make the end. Cooper...
Mills on Llanos right now.
Tape pitted.
Look at that, Mills on Llanos Magasrevi. So it's going to be fun to see Mills making his comeback through the field.
For sure, and this is the thing where Riera will still likely get that point for fast lap because, again, Riera gets to put the soft tires on at the end.
Yes, sir.
So
well observed.
I think that'll be another point, which he'll be leading the championship, I don't think, with any great issue after this one, because he said he was 4 points behind, correct?
Yep, exactly. And on the live, no specifics, which is Mills' sweet half, it's telling us what's Mills' penalty. So you mentioned speeding in the pit lane, and I would agree on that because it happened right after his pit stop. So that's
because we thought he was serving. We had actually.
We didn't know he pitted because he was behind an Aston Martin, but that was not Riera. That was Ricardo Sr. So that's where we missed on the pit stop, you and I. And we took maybe like 10-15 seconds to figure out what went down.
Mills took some candy away from you again.
Yes,
Mills
sir.
Is up to P3. But Cooper's not going to pit again. Mills is going... Well, Mills doesn't have to pit again because he's used both
I don't
compounds.
think he does. Yeah, exactly.
No,
so he's on. Yeah, he's on his last set of tires.
So he's still in a podium, and that just shows the pace that he has. You can sit in the pit lane still for 10 seconds, do an extra pit stop, and still come out and be in P3. Will he be able to catch Zeke? This will be very interesting. 13.5 for Mills, the last lap. Of course, Mills is going to be driving that thing like a cannon right now. But look at Montero's time, 15.2.
Exactly. And Mills 13.5.
1.7 seconds. It's not going to take very long to catch up at that speed.
He's a man on a mission. But do you think that speed that he's going to try to pull out might be leading to a mistake from Mills, maybe losing the car somewhere? Or
it could, but generally speaking, mistakes tend to happen. I don't know if you've experienced this, but mistakes can sometimes happen when you're not on the edge. When you're actually,
you're right. Yeah. You're sleeping. You're in. You're not focused as much. And it's the. I call it the Ayrton Senna effect, like what happened in Monaco, when his pit. I think his team told him just to lay low because he was in such a big lead, which was I think 40 seconds over his teammate, and then he crashed. He crashed like you, but unlike you, he didn't go into the marina. But he almost went into the marina, and he got out of his car and decided to go to his apartment to watch the rest of the race. Unfortunate, because you gotta be on the edge and keep your focus.
For sure. I have some good news. Mercedes pitted, and it wasn't Magas Revi. It was Jacobo Cardozo. So that's good. Sean Higgins is in the pits, so he's going to fall back down the order. He's in for his final stop. He will take the soft tires, assuming he's allowed to take the soft tires. Assuming he's used another compound already, which I believe he has. So Higgins is going to be a man on a mission, trying to get back into the points.
Yep. On the soft compound.
Montero's pitted. Montero is in the pits. He has come out of the pits. And he's going to come out next to Cooper.
Yes, sir. So Mills has passed Montero.
Yep.
You got your answer right there.
Yep.
Mercedes on the hard compound.
Yeah, Montero has to run the mediums too, so I don't think he's going to have the pace to go for Mills. Now, most people are on the medium right now. Top 4 are on mediums. Janos Magasrevi is on the extra hard, trying to go a little bit more laps. Tape mediums. Del Castillo is on softs. So then comes the soft runner. So it's kind of inverted.
Ooh. The Aston Martin tried to get out of the way, but it was okay. This is better. This is better
Senior.
done.
Yep.
Yeah, Ricardo Senior, because he kind of went right after that, little piff paff. Let's call it that way. But he was going slow, so it could have been. It was close in my screen. Let's say that. Let's say it that way. I thought they might touch, but it didn't happen. So kudos to that.
Montero is going to catch up Cooper here. Cooper's not even going to give him the shake and bake. He doesn't want to lose 0.0001 of a second. Montero should get in by next lap. So much later on the brakes. I mean,
you see that.
Too late.
He went deep.
Too late. Yes. Zeke.
That's going to create a little gap. Maybe he lost, let's say, 0.4 of a second. He's going wide there.
No, not sure. Not sure the stewards will like that one. You're not going to gain too much time, of course, so common sense prevails that everything's fine. But you got to be careful that the game doesn't automatically give you a penalty, because the game sometimes can do that. If it senses that you've been off the track for too much. And again, what's the point? You're not going to gain anything. This corner, I love that corner. The chicane, it just falls in, and you can throw so much speed into it, and the whole front tire just kind of rolls into the corner. It's such a great turn. This one, I'm not sure why they ruined it. It used to be a challenging turn. Now it's just kind of like very flowy this end of the circuit. And this is why the brakes in this circuit, not particularly a problem, because you're not using them from now all the way until turn 1.
But when you say ruined it, we mentioned it. We both know the track, but we know it with different layout. As I'm speaking, the Ferrari is right behind Cooper.
Cooper goes defensive. He's
exactly. Look at that. You told it.
Wow. He's fighting
Great
it.
defense.
This is interesting. Cooper is feeling like he can race Montero today.
Yeah.
And there's 18 laps left. I believe 18 or 19.
Exactly.
That's very interesting, because I thought that Cooper maybe would have let him go. But again, he defended nice and easily up to the inside. Cooper is an old school defender. You're going to have to go around the outside of me.
Well, you said pick up your fights. So when you mentioned Cooper at the beginning of the race, he defended on a car that he knew he had a race with. He did not defend on cars that he knew he was not his race. Now that everybody pitted, this is his position. This is his podium. And if he let Montero by, he's probably not gonna gain back that position. So now this is the race. This is
a train. It is causing a train, because Magasrevi is caught up. He did 15.0 last lap. Montero is 14.9, so the same time. So Magasrevi is just lurking, but he's on the hard tires. Tape is not a million miles away as well. He's on the same.
No, but now Montero's going to have a run, so it's going to be harder for Cooper to defend.
Cooper's going to go inside. You've got to go grass. Oh, Cooper didn't go inside this time.
Oh, they touched. Front wing to rear tire. Front ring to rear tire. There might be a puncture or something. I don't know.
Not Montero, he ended up off the
Montero's
race.
Montero's off.
Wow. We need to see that one back, honestly, because I'm surprised that Cooper gave the inside. And why would they have a collision when Montero had the inside? Like, very strange. Very, very strange. I'll see here if I can zoom back if my
Yeah, if you can, I don't know if Jazz can show it because we had issues with replays. But what happened, Montero went on the inside of Cooper. Cooper did not defend the way he defended the lap prior to that. And under braking, I think Montero stood straight and Cooper was starting to turn the car and his front...
The blame has to be on the inside car because Montero had the line into the corner, and I think he maybe outbroke himself, and as a result caused contact with Cooper. I can't see how Cooper on the outside would have been anything other than a passenger in that scenario. So a potential mistake from Montero, and again, Cooper, you know, he just did something different. Right?
Yeah.
I'm going to show you something different, and I think that we all expected him to go the inside. He didn't. Of course, he got lucky in the end that the contact helped him out instead of Montero. The gods were on his side. Methinks this race, this battle, potentially not done. Montero,
well, Janos, yeah, and you got Janos behind Cooper right now, so they're battling for that third step of the podium. About Cooper, the front right of his wing, front wing right side went into the rear left of Montero. So can that cut the tire? Is it something that can happen in the game? A puncture out of because we see that in real life. So realism being what it is, can it happen, Matt?
Typically not something that will happen very often. The front wing will usually get ripped off. Punches, not so much, unless you wear the tires too much. So something not that they do. In real life, for sure, the front wings act like knives and slice it. Now, look at Janos Magasrevi. He is smelling a wounded Glenn Cooper here in the McLaren. And Janos Magasrevi, on the hard tires, all of a sudden is Janos Ayrton Senna, and he is absolutely flying out there.
Well, this is the battle we're watching right now for third position. And we mentioned it, Cooper, not the... he's a tough customer, not the easiest guy to pass. I quite like that. I really like that, being feisty. I think in racing nowadays, in a few series, people are not defending enough. And I like to see a good defense. I myself enjoy having a good defense, try to keep the position so hardly achieved. Let's put it that way.
He's going to be fired up. Cooper is going to be fired up. Janos Magasrevi is smelling a potential.
Oh, he's in the pit. Cooper is in the pits.
Is it the damage, or is he going to go and put the softs on? It's surprising to me because Cooper, I thought,
he was done with the tires. He did the compound change.
I'm surprised. Maybe the damage is just too much, but usually the time that it takes to fix the damage. So he did not fix the damage, or the game fixed it very quickly. You can choose, by the way, to elect not to fix the damage if you do not want to take the time penalty. So Cooper may have turned that off. It honestly is a common problem where you'll forget that you had damage lap 1, and then you'll go to pit lap 15, you'll forget to turn it off, and all of a sudden the crew will be fixing, a slight hairline fracture crack, and you'll be very upset that you're losing the time. But Janos Magasrevi has been gifted third place, so perhaps it's time to run through the order for our radio listeners out there.
All right, so Riera first. But in the meantime, I just want to mention that Ricardo Seniors and Cliff Van Leeuwen are battling for 12th position. But you got Argenis Riera in first position. Unfortunately, Josh Mills suffered from a penalty in second position. So he's back there, but no fight. No fight in the forecast.
He lost second, and he's in second.
Exactly. Yeah. So he just lost the opportunity to fight for first. Then Janos Magasrevi wrapping up the third set of podium. Elise Tape in fourth position. Great race by Tape so far. Ezequiel Montero, Zeke in fifth position, suffered from that little touch with Glenn Cooper. But now these two drivers are going to probably meet each other on track.
Cooper coming from behind on the new tires. So now Cooper is going to do he's going to do the attacking. Montero is going to do the defending. This could get tasty. So
And Senior behind Cliff and Senior fighting for 12th position. These guys are right next to each other. One on the soft compound, the Alpha Tower in the soft compound. On the inside of the Aston Martin, not even. Oh wow! Okay, I think they almost touched. The Aston Martin crashed. The Aston Martin crashed at the exit on the hard tires. So that's Ricardo Senior driving, as you said, the Formula Ford.
Wounded. Yeah, he still has his rear wing. Otherwise, he has to park the car. Because if you lose your rear wing, you cannot continue. Oh,
look at that. Oh, this is not...
Yeah, I mean, he's wounded, so he is allowed to bring it back to the pits, but he's got to be very, very careful he doesn't incur a penalty. While this was all going on, the captain, John Cook, pitted for his last pit stop. He's in P10 with a fresh new pair of the Reds on, so he should be attacking Bill Worrell soon, too. So it's a shame that Senior had that contact. There was a good fight, and...
Yep.
Higgins is in my favorite position, P11, right behind the captain. But captain's got a new set of he's got a new ship, so he should be moving up the board. Back to this fight with Magus Revi. Tape is having a very nice drive. He's just stayed out of all of the trouble in P4. Cooper and Montero. Cooper's last lap was
16-0.
16-0. Montero 14-6. Cooper
Yes, sir.
Maybe it was still in his out lap, so maybe we need to give another lap here to really get the true
Cooper
data.
with softs, by the way. Riera with the fastest lap so far, Matt, with a 5.42. So 12 and a half, 112 and a half.
That's not getting beat. That's give him the point. Somebody can deliver it for him. I think 12.5. Although, to be honest, to be fair, will Josh Mills be able to pull out enough gap on Janos Magus Revi in order to then feel, I'm going to come in and get a pair of soft tires?
Exactly.
This is when the silly season begins and the games are coming into pit for 1 point. But it will be interesting to see. Cooper's
what
last
is the
lap.
pit delta?
Cooper's last lap, sorry, is a 14.6, so it was faster.
There's a fight with Ricky Haney and Cliff Van Lee Ward right now for P13.
Van Lee Ward, the 13-letter juggernaut in the Alpha Tauri.
Exact same spot where Senior crashed, by the way.
Exact same spot as the same number of letters in the last name. And we are going to go ahead and attack Richard Haney. Haney is a bit of a painy sometimes to overtake because he has a lot of experience as well. There's a lot of experience coming up right here, like Haney, Higgins, Cook, Worrell, Cardozo, Castillo. These are names that North American Sim Racing, if you have been in one of the top leagues, at some point you've come across one of them.
But now that we're mentioning it, Cliff is on soft compound and Ricky Haney is on the hard compound.
Uh-oh.
So this is going to be tough on him.
This should be... you might be losing some more candy here. Because the soft versus the hard... if you play any strategy games like Civilization, and perhaps, you have still got spearmen and the computer's got tanks, this is what this could be like.
That's a good comparison. Like it.
Nobody's spinning at that corner.
No, not much.
Oh, very interesting. Not,
they were testing the limits in practice. That's what I mentioned. They were just testing the limits.
You were right. They tested it. Cliff is... I don't think he has as much pace in that car as Haney potentially has in the Williams, because Haney's doing a good job right now of being a painy. So we will keep an eye on that battle, seeing if there's a fight anywhere else. Oh!
Ooh!
Cliff, he's pushing. He is pushing.
Right, huh? Almost lost the car right there. So that's going to give Richard Haney a little bit of breathing space.
And I got bad news for both of these guys, because Otto Acosta is about 15 seconds, 16 seconds behind these guys with 12 laps to go. Otto Acosta's gonna, if these two fight, he's gonna come into that range. He won't get to P11. Sean Higgins has got that wrapped up, signed, sealed right now. Ape and Magus Revi is pretty close.
Yeah, I'm watching the gaps. So 2.5 seconds, almost 3. The closest fights now, in the field is between Richard Haney and Cliff Vanley Ward. But there is exactly 11 laps left, and we're going to see a few cars get together like we usually see at the end because of the different pit strategies.
Yeah.
7 cars on the lead lap.
It's always fun when you come out of the pits and on the last stop, and all of a sudden everything is revealed to you like a game of Clue.
Exactly.
Where all of a sudden you realize who you're racing against. Cooper is the only one that's realized who he was racing against before he was even born. So he's the one that seems to have that magic part of it before it happens. But it is still kind of spaced out. Josh Mills, 35 seconds. You said 7 cars were on the lead lap. Will anybody else get lapped here? Yes, Castillo will get lapped.
I think Del Castillo will, yeah.
And Cooper potentially too, which is just crazy. That just shows the pace of Riera. That a driver that we've said is driven a very good race in Glenn Cooper might get lapped. That just shows this is not for the faint of heart.
True that, and being lapped at a high level like that is always heartbreaking.
It is, but to be honest, as crazy as it sounds, sometimes you look forward to it, because if you're Janos Magus Revi and you've been struggling on tire wear the whole race, you pray that you get lapped so you don't have to do another lap on the tires.
You're right. That can save your life. That can save your life. Yeah.
Sometimes, and tape is catching Magus Revi.
2 seconds tape behind Magus Revi. The difference between the lap, tape 2/10, 2.5, around 2/10 faster last lap over Magus Revi. This is the closest fight that we have confirmed.
Cliff jumped off the cliff. That's who just overtook Cliff because he pitted. Otto Acosta, P13.
You're right, and Ricardo Sr. spun at the turn. We said that people were testing the limit. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Tony Mitsalis is still in the race. He's 3 laps down, but he's still in the race.
His teammate behind him. He's got to let him go.
Yep. Jeff Oppenheim, quiet race for him, P15. So it does look like that Magus Revi fight is the one that's going to get particularly tasty here.
What do we have? So Elise tape right now, 1.2 seconds. So this is the fight that we're looking with Higgins and Haney. Something happened there. Sean Higgins, more front wing. So something happens between him and his teammate, I think. They might have touched. It happened so fast. The gap was actually big. I think he might have spun because I saw the red line in my telemetry arriving right now. I didn't even have time to click on it, and the front wing was gone. So this is another spot for Otto Acosta.
Oh, double T. Oh, here we go. P12. By the way, usually if you lose your front wing and on your teammate, usually you're guilty. So Sean Higgins, you're losing a front wing. Typically, that doesn't go well for you. Guys, don't crash into your teammate, okay? Let's just not do that. It's not worth it. The one guy you shouldn't be crashing into is your teammate. Haney now is going to try and hold on to 11. How far is Otto? And he's not far away. He will get P11 after all this. Ricardo Sr. has parked it. He's decided enough is enough.
By the way, Matt, agreed on the teammate crashing thing, but I wonder if something might have happened where one of the two drivers, Higgins, maybe lost control, and it might have been an accident instead of a mishap during a battle.
Because I did one thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. When you hit your teammate, it doesn't matter. It can be whatever you want it to be, but you know, it doesn't matter. It always reminds me of Weber and Vettel in Istanbul when they were going at it and they managed to crash. And as a McLaren fan myself, I jumped off the couch, you know, laughing.
Well, you remember that Ricardo, I think it was Ricardo and Verstappen as well, right? Was it in Azerbaijan? Yeah.
Yep.
At Baku.
I forget the race, but yep.
But you know, speaking of teammates, we mentioned it here. The Mercedes, Rosberg and Hamilton. That was one of the biggest teammate, you know, let's say, the teammate battles, because I think that was the season.
Rosberg managed to beat Hamilton to a championship. Everybody forgets that, and then parked it and said, "Thank you very much. I'm going to retire." Yeah. And Rosberg famously said that he was terrified of driving Formula One cars fast, and he was afraid every race. So that just shows the ability that he had, that he managed to actually race against Lewis Hamilton, who we all know. Remember when Alonso had a problem with Hamilton in his rookie year? Nobody knew how good Hamilton was going to be.
True that.
So how is Tape doing? He
1.7. Fluctuating. Yeah.
You just need to get within the DRS window. It isn't a big help here, though. It's not a big help here. The DRS window, because you enter that dirty air, which you alluded to. Just where it is, like, I mean, that back straight, you're in DRS for maybe 4 or 5 seconds, so it doesn't give you much. The start-finish straight definitely helps, but typically you have to be close enough to go for a pass. Very rarely do you use the DRS to actually catch up here. It's definitely used as overtaking. It looks like he lost a bit of time that lap. Janos is not going to give this up without a fight. Will those tires hold on?
6 laps left, by the way, and I don't think we're going to see Josh Mills putting some softs on. I doubt it, because he's got 20 seconds, so that would be very dangerous. Yep, it's not worth it, so he's going to close the championship.
He's already had one pit lane speeding incident today.
Yeah, right, yeah. That's another thing.
Let's not do that again. I'm assuming that was what it was for. I don't think it was for giving the director the middle finger.
Probably not.
I think in order to do that in the game, you have to hit F7, Control, and then F in order to do that. So don't try that, kids. I just made that. Did
our viewers have time to note that? If you don't forget to just come back 20 seconds in the broadcast and make him repeat that.
Write it down. Yeah, 90% of what I say is a lie, including that. All right.
Was that a lie?
That's
this is mind games. No, I don't want to get into mind games right now.
That's what happens at 61 laps. We're waiting. We're waiting. We're buying time right now. We're waiting for something to happen. We think the Tape might catch Magus Revi. Sorry. Montero's catching Tape, so that's interesting. Cooper is not catching Montero. Oh.
Is he? 113.6 and Montero 14. Oh wow. Okay, yeah. This is.
No, he is catching.
There's 6 seconds between them. As if he gets 1.5 seconds per lap till the end, we should see maybe a brawl at the end. And so Montero and Tape are close.
He's begging. Cooper is begging that Tape can close up to Magus Revi and force Magus Revi to go defensive, and then that will bring Montero and Cooper into it. And we all know that. It's a strange one because Montero possibly to blame for the accident between the two of them, but Montero has the track position right now, so you can't be too upset. So I don't think we're going to have any fisticuffs between these two guys. Del Castillo did separate from his teammate. He ended up in P7. Cook fell down to P10. Still a solid points position, but just shows the experience from Del Castillo was that although his teammates seem to have the same pace, there's 3 positions between them right now.
I'm looking at the gaps right now. Tape 2 seconds behind Magus Revi. We're talking about Cooper on Montero, so 5.2 seconds, 4.8, 4.3. Something must have happened to Montero because Cooper is coming fast.
He's still going. He's still
because the gap reduced so quickly in the telemetry. That is.
I think we need to go on board with Cooper because Cooper is flying right now. And,
let's see that.
We need to see it. So we're coming around turn 3. We're going under the Fanatec board. Shout out to Fanatec, sponsor of SimRacingHub. Nice medium line. See, as guys have got faster, they kind of go wider through it. This turn really falls away. Just got to be careful on the power. This is my favorite corner coming up, this left-hander. Just watch how the car rolls in on the inside. You can just gun it on the power. Don't hit the sausage on the outside. Then you've got to get it into left, right into Kamsa. You can only make mistakes around Kamsa. You can't actually really make any time. Then into Lakaxa. Does take the apex, really throwing the car in there, and Cooper's definitely using all the tires that he has now. Now is go time, and this is where all those times where he decided to not lose any mistakes, any time fighting guys, all of a sudden now those tenths of a second could make a difference.
He's got the drivers in front of him in sight, but they're small. The thing is with Formula One, a mistake is can be really hard. So when a driver makes a mistake, the other drivers around are going so fast that the gap closes really quick, since they're really fast cars.
Yeah, and just looking at the times, just so if you want to get into SimRacingHub, absolutely, it's a great league. But just looking at the times, the last 4 laps for Elise Tape, 15-1, 15-0, 15-1, 15-0.
Ooh, this is
1/10 of a second every single lap. This is these guys are giving it everything that they have to try and keep a guy like Ezekiel Montero behind you. You cannot make a single mistake.
That's what you call consistency.
Oh, Double T-O has let go. He has left the race.
Oh, unfortunate, because we really wanted him to come back and maybe score a point after what happened at the start. So this is not going to be good for the McLaren team, who was second in the championship. I predicted maybe a leap over Red Bull.
Montero
exactly
is, he's catching Tape. Montero is coming. So Tape, we thought Tape was going to catch Magus Revi. Magus Revi has warned that attack off.
Yeah.
Then here comes Montero.
2 laps left, by the way, Matt.
Cooper's not going to be able to catch if there's only 2 laps left. Montero's going to have, if there's only 2 laps left now, that means only 1 more time down.
Yeah.
Great. So he's got to give everything. Throws the car into that left-hander. Avoids the sausage. That's what we're talking about. He is a qualified
Montero. Yeah, he's got the knife in between his teeth right now.
He knows he has to get into DRS zone. He's going to take so late. He's going to get on the power. Tight line.
What's the difference? Not a second. 7/10.
He's going to be in it. We're going to have
yes,
a go
sir.
right here. We're going to have a go. Montero.
This is what we're here for. Oh, look at that. Ooh.
Here we go. Here we go. This should be easy, but Tape's going to have to defend
wow.
it.
Look at the speed.
On
the inside. Done deal. Easy peasy.
Tape did not fight that. Does he see? Is he?
I don't even think he knew that he was coming as fast as he was, and Luku's coming behind that.
Well, maybe
Can Cooper make something?
Maybe Tape made an executive decision and thought, you know what? Cooper's coming even faster than Montero is. I'm going to try and hold on to this position, but Cooper is absolutely, he's throwing it in as well. This is great to see. Meanwhile, Riera, where is he? He's started the last lap.
Ooh, the Ferrari's almost loose. Montero almost lost the Ferrari, Matt.
We knew he was giving it everything, and Tape all of a sudden now senses some weakness.
But he had it in the bag right there, so that was a bit risky.
Cooper's going to have a go.
You're right.
There is going to be 1 more lap. We made a mistake. Oh, and he goes wide. Tape goes
look
wide.
at that, Tape. Can Cooper make it? Can he pull out the Valentino Rossi right here?
He should get it easily. He did lose time around the corner, so he's not going to be able to get Montero, but Glenn Cooper back up to P5.
You're right. Nice pass. Nicely done. So unfortunate for Tape. And can Cooper bring the fight to Montero in this last lap, Matt?
He is flying. What was Cooper's last lap?
This is Tokyo Drift right here in Spain.
Well, Montero made the mistake last lap, so long as Montero doesn't make a mistake, he should be okay. Riera is going to be coming. He did cross the line. We missed. And for all that fighting, we missed James Riera take the win.
Well, kudos to Riera, but he was such an... oh, well, look at the Ferrari. Almost lost it again, so his tires must be cooked on the rear side.
Yep. So Riera... Oh, tape! Tape is gone!
No!
His engine's gone!
You're right.
His engine has gone! Oh! So hang on. So he is going to finish 7th still, because everybody else is a lap down.
You're right.
So somehow he's going to hold on to P7. Kids, this is why you do not get lapped.
Exactly.
That's crazy. Josh Mills.
Okay, so tape. Okay, well, wait. Well, I'm hearing he's finished 9th, but okay.
Worrell is
passing. Okay, Zeke passing the start-finish line. Cooper was right there, but couldn't make it work. So the results are in right now, and tape in 7th. So you're right. He was the first one a lap down. Was he?
That's where he'll finish, because everybody else was a lap down. It was on the last lap.
So there's no way for them, even with that, to get back at him. So
that's when you go to bed and you take the points and you say, you know what, it could have been worse. He only lost 1 spot.
All right. Well, that was exciting, man. We didn't, at the end like that, you don't know where to look. So Riera won the race. We couldn't, we like the show here, so we're not going to show you the leader crossing the finish line like they do on TV just to show you the leader. We want to see the battles, and that's what we did. And but Riera finished 1st, Mills in 2nd. That's gonna put Riera on top in the championship by, I think, 4 points now with the fastest lap. Assuming there wouldn't be any penalties between these drivers with the stewards after that. Maybe in the future, Matt, you could enlighten us on how it works. That said, Janos Magasrevi in 3rd position. So good podium for Janos. Montero in 4th position. Made a few mistakes, but was really fast, and at the end took that position. Glenn Cooper showed us great defense in 5th position. Juan del Castillo, Senor El Fuego in 6th position. Elise Tape, who blew up his engine, as you mentioned, in 7th position. Jacobo Cardoso in 8th. Bill Worrell for Ferrari in 9th. And Captain John Cook in 10th position. For the points guys. Richard Haney, unfortunately, is in the 11th position, the no pay zone. Cliff Fenley Warrior in 12, Oppenheim in 13, Mitsalis in 14, and the first DNFs, Sean Higgins, Mr. Lawnmower Man. Otto Acosta, unfortunate race for him, started and had a crash in lap 1, I think, because he was he on the medium tires, if we remember correctly. Might have been a little bit slippery for him. Ricardo Sr. had a lot of troubles with his Aston Martin, so that's no good points for the Aston Martin team, since just one. Well, that's good points for the win, but still they could have scored a little more and get back on the championship boat. Stefan Broderson in 18, and unfortunately again Jean-Pierre Lalancette for the Red Bull team, not scoring points for his team. Did not finish that race. That's the 3rd DNF out of 4 races for him. Him being replaced by Fast Zeke Montero. In the 2nd race, if I'm not mistaken. So, Matt, first of all, congrats, man. I think you did great. That was great analysis. I had fun listening to you. You brought great insights about that game, that racing. So I just want to, before we wrap things up, I want to thank you for that. So in that race, what struck you the most? What was the most exciting points of this race, in your opinion?
Well, thank you. First off, thank you for having me, and it's good to be back. And I'm back in the racing seat. I'm back behind the wheel. We're just not going anywhere, so it's okay. We're using his cameras, but the excitement at the end was great. We saw some great driving. if I'm to give a driver of the day, and I would love to have your driver of the day as well, my driver of the day actually is going to be a bit of a surprise, because I am surprised at where he finished, which is actually Janos Magasrevi. He finished third after doing only 14 laps on the first stint of tires. He actually went 36 laps on the hard tires and still managed to hold off Ezekiel Montero, Glenn Cooper, Elise Tape. Like, these guys a lot of speed and were on the hard tires for 36 laps. And a guy that was struggling with tire wear put the hard tires on, committed to it, and somehow managed to salvage a podium out of it. It's very, very impressive. It's not what I would have anticipated. I thought Magasrevi was going to be racing for P9 after he pitted after what seemed like 4 minutes. So great race by him. I don't know if you had anybody else. There was quite a few good drives, to be honest.
Yeah, well, we cannot forget the performance of Riera, but voting for the winner who just like did a perfect race is not really in my
if
way
Mills
of thinking.
Had the penalty, then it definitely would have been a thing. But Mills having that penalty, at the end of the day, Argenis Riera, I don't even know if he was driving at the end or whether
it was just cruising.
Mrs. Riera took over the wheel for a little bit. Because he was cruising, because Josh Mills definitely handed that to him, but came back and finished second.
Well, I was about to mention actually Glenn Cooper. It would be my driver of the day just for the demonstration of defense, patience, and experience. So that's that's one of the things I enjoyed the most in that race. But there was great, the Alpines. Brought a good show. Del Castillo, where did he start again? 14?
Oh yes, no, never mind. Sorry.
So Del Castillo,
driver of the day.
Yeah, Del Castillo
has to be.
I think he gained what?
13.
No, he started last. Didn't he? Yes,
yeah,
exactly. So
how did we? I apologize. We knew that happened. We mentioned
exactly. So Juan Del Castillo, I think, there's a lot of great performances, but today Juan Del Castillo, starting from the rear, Mr. El Fuego, getting to 6th position. I think, we should give him the kudos and the driver of the day. So about that, so thank you very much for being here once again. This was the 4th round of the 2024 F1 SimRacingHub on RFactor2 platform championship. You're watching us on GTCQ TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Always feel free to come here and comment. We had great comments from Marty Simon. It's Skyscream. There's a new viewer here that hasn't talked in the live, but he just mentioned something at the end, so I'm going to read that in a few seconds. We're going to be back in 2 weeks time. This schedule right here, and I'm going to try to go see it on the SimRacingHub. So we're having San Marino Grand Prix, and it's going to be May 16th. Same time, so 9 o'clock Eastern time at Imola. Famous or infamous track, actually, because especially at this period of the year. So will you be back in 2 weeks, Matt?
That's the plan.
All right, good. Oh, yeah, I will gladly have you. We had a lot of fun here, so we'll keep in touch in the meantime. Don't forget to go see the website to keep score on the driver and the team championship, the schedule, whatever news there is to know about the SimRacingHub. On this, I would like to thank Jas, our producer in the booth. Usually I mention him a little more, but we had a lot to talk about, but he's still here. But without him, we couldn't make this happen. So on this token, since it's pretty late and it's Thursday, I'll let you guys all go to sleep. Thank you again, Matt Hartley, for your insights and great comments, man. I had a blast with you today, and I wish you all good night. See you soon in 2 weeks. I'll be there, you'll be there, and we'll have fun at San Marino.